Welcome everyone, welcome to my channel, welcome to Love's Messages. My name is Janet, and if you're new here, what I have done is I've created this channel as a way of supporting humanity through what we're going through right now, which is a shift in consciousness. Many people are calling it an ascension process, where we're going from primarily an egoic consciousness to Christ consciousness. And my inspiration, my life and my teachings have been very informed by the teachings of the Christ mind, primarily the Course in Miracles, the Way of Mastery, all the teachings by Tina Louise Spalding and Gina Lake, and Journey into the Unknown. There are many, many others. These are just the ones that have informed me the most, and that I highly recommend. And I'm going to post links to them all in the description below. I'll just continually post those because I think that they're an invaluable resource that I want you to take advantage of. So what I want to talk about today is called free will. And what I'm doing is I'm really just laying the frameworks for the support that is to come in helping humanity to navigate this kind of tricky period. It's the best time to be alive, and it's the worst time to be alive, depending on how you look at it. So I want to help you to look at it through the eyes of love instead of through the eyes of fear, through the eyes of our right mind, our God mind, instead of through the eyes of through the mind of the body's eyes, the egoic consciousness. You know, what we have on planet Earth, largely in the dysfunctional sense, is what we've created from our egoic consciousness. And what we want to do is we want to bring more love to the planet. And so this idea of free will, I want you to look at free will is it's the biggest gift from God that we have. Even though we came into a body and we were mind wiped, I've talked about this in other videos, you know, our mind has been, you know, wiped of the memory of our multidimensional self, that part of us that we share with God, that we share with all of life and everyone. And so we, you know, we come from feeling that sense of oneness, that sense of home, that sense of unconditional love. And then we're, you know, slammed into, by choice, I mean, we chose this, slammed into a body, and we come into separation. It's very, very challenging to go from that feeling of oneness into separation. And so we are, you know, the experience that we're having on the physical level is an experience of separation, which is pretty scary. It's fearful. It's you know, the main characteristic of that is fear, but we chose that because we wanted to have a certain experience. But we weren't left without any support. I mean, we have lots of support. A Course in Miracles talks about the support of the Holy Spirit, and we can draw on that support, and our angels and our guides are supporting us. We are way more supported than we realize, and that's really important to remember. But getting back to this idea of free will, we've been given free will. Although we haven't really been taking advantage of it for the most part. So free will is that part of us that is able to choose. We can choose to think with the mind of love, or we can choose to think with the mind of fear. We can choose to think with our right mind or our wrong mind. And the reason why it hasn't felt like a choice is because we're so deeply programmed and so deeply conditioned. And the programming of humans on planet Earth has been very successful. It's been very slow and steady over generations, over years, and you know, to the point where the reason why we have so much support right now to liberate our planet as we move into this, higher dimension, this Christ consciousness, is because our free will has been slowly and systematically taken from us, and we are really at a choice point in human evolution, because we are teetering on that brink of really not having free will. And I think a lot of what you're seeing going on in the world right now is a result of people really not having free will. Or we all have free will, okay? But exercising that free will, using that free will, has become more and more difficult and more challenging. So free will is that ability to see things differently. It is the part of us that is able to become willing to see things differently. It is the part of us that is able to wake up to the fact that we are powerful creators and that we can create like God. Creation is an inside-out job. We've been taught to believe that our experience comes from our external reality. That's actually not true. Our experience comes from inside of us, and we have the free will to use that free will to see things differently, to see things through a more loving eyes, more forgiving eyes, more generous eyes, and that's going to be the foundation for a lot of what I'm going to be talking about. So I want you to think about our egoic programming. I want you to think about your human self, just like it's kind of like a computer program. It's you've probably noticed this. You see a sign, and then suddenly you're repeating the words of the sign over and over and over again, and then you realize you're just repeating words that you've seen. It's very much like an operating system, and it's very it's very repetitive. So most of us are aware that we have a voice that's talking to us constantly. Is it talking to us? Is it talking to somebody else? Who knows? It's just talking. It's chattering constantly. And most of that chatter is not helpful. Most of that chatter is pretty unhelpful. And so what we want to start doing is we want to start using our free will to devalue that egoic programming that is mostly based on conditioning, past, beliefs that have been inherited, beliefs that we picked up from society, beliefs that we've been indoctrinated with through our education, through our culture, through our movies, through religion. So what we want to do is we want to start to see that that's actually pretty unimportant, although the ego would like to think it's essential. It's really only concerned with short-term survival. The ego is not concerned with long-term survival. If it was, it wouldn't tell you to stop and get a coffee and a donut for lunch. It wouldn't be telling you to do things like that aren't really good for you. Maybe have that second drink, that third drink, that fourth drink. Like it's only concerned with short-term survival and feeling more comfortable in a sense. It's not really looking at the long-term strategy for staying alive and staying healthy. So it really, in that sense, is we could actually get by pretty well with very, very little of what the egoic programming is offering us in terms of survival. Yes, if you see a car barreling down the road towards you, you turn off, or you put on the brakes, or you do certain things. But for the most part, it's pretty unhelpful, and it doesn't really create a lot of joy. As a matter of fact, what it does is creates a lot of suffering. So this is one of the things that I want you to start to appreciate, is that we actually now, more than ever in the history of humanity, have the ability to see and choose a more loving perspective. And I'm going to get into this maybe in the next video, how we can do that, how we can really start to create a life that is more joyful, and that where we have more of everything that we want instead of what we don't want. This is what I'm really excited to teach. I'm really excited to teach about really how creation works, and how we can really start to create what we want instead of what we don't want. And so I'm going to leave it there, because I don't want these videos to be too long. I'm going to pick it up again in the next video, and we'll talk about, I'm going to really flesh out this idea, this perspective of the egoic, egoic programming, and how we actually, what we need to do in order to be able to use the power of our free will to choose love and override the egoic programming. And it's brilliant, and it's the only way to get through this. So I hope you will join me in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. I love you dearly, and I am excited about this next phase for humanity. I want you to be more excited about what's coming than you are in, what seems to be unfolding in things that you don't like on planet Earth. Let's choose to see the good and recognize that what is not good, what is not, the structures that we've built that are not loving, need to come up and be exposed, so that we can heal as a planet, we can heal as a humanity, we can come together, and we can really create something truly, truly beautiful. So thanks for joining me. Take care, be love, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye for now.